So I have a couple of articles to read to you guys today. I've kind of talked about this a little bit in the past about how, as far as the whole street thug thing is concerned, that there may come a time in America when basically getting rid of them would become legal. Like one day it may be put into law that just finally just wiping them out and getting rid of them, doing away with them, will become the thing to do. And I talked about it briefly, but I never really gave you guys receipts or any truly detailed, in-depth explanation for why I say it may happen in America. Here's just one example of what I was speaking about. In the Philippines, they're out there popping tops. I'm talking blowing brains out. I may have to go move to the Philippines, go see the fireworks. So here's the deal. The first article comes from Newsweek.com. It was posted on July 5th of 2016 at 3:14 a.m. That's a great time. They should have just posted at 3 a.m. for those of my people that know what 3 a.m. means. But anyways, the article was written by Connor Gaffey. It's titled, Philippines 30 quote drug dealers executed, and I'm going to ruin this name, in their Duterte's first 4 days as president. Let's give it up for President Duterte. Bye-bye, drug dealers. So here's what they wrote. The Philippines' new president, Rodrigo Duterte, appears to be living up to his nickname after less than a week in office. Police in the island country have said that some 30 suspected drug dealers have been killed since Duterte, dubbed the Punisher for his hardline stance on drugs, was sworn into office Thursday. Formerly the mayor of the southern town of Davao, Duterte, 71, was elected in May following an explosive campaign in which he vowed to kill thousands of criminals and fatten the fish in Manila Bay, in the capital, Manila, by dumping their bodies there. Look at God, Charlemagne the God voice. Following his oath, Duterte urged his supporters to do away with drug traffickers, reportedly saying, "Go ahead and kill them yourself, as getting their parents to do it would be too painful." This is the best fucking article I've ever read in my life. The police chief for the Manila region, Oscar Albayalde, said that 5 drug dealers were killed following a gun battle with police Sunday, Reuters reported. 3 other people were killed in other parts of Manila Sunday, while 22 were killed outside the capital. Police also made a seizure of 180 kilograms of methamphetamine, known locally as shabu, worth around 900 million Philippine pesos, or about 19 million American dollars, according to National Police Chief Ronald De La Rosa. In total, more than 100 people have died, most suspected drug dealers, rapists, and car thieves, in police operations since the election on May 9th. The Secretary General of the National Union of People's Lawyers, Ed Alalia, said in a statement Monday that the murder of suspected drug dealers was not a, quote, quick fix to the problem. Quote, "Let us be crystal clear. The drug menace must stop," said Alalia. Yet the apparent serial summary executions of alleged drug users or petty drug lords, which appear sudden, too contrived, and predictable, must also stop. The two are not incompatible. So that's the end of the article. Okay, so anyways, so this article was posted on September 5th of 2016 at 9:16 a.m. on the businessinsider.com website by Christopher Woody. I got a Woody reading that last article. Let's see what happens when I read this one, Jesus. This one's titled, "The Philippines President Has Declared a War on Drugs and Has Turned Normal People into Hired Killers." Anyone want an application? I added that part, Jesus. Let me get to this article. Here's what Christopher Woody wrote. Boing. Philippine President Rodrigo D. swept into office earlier this week with bombastic promises to declare war on the drugs. Listen, Jesus. Drug dealers just dying everywhere. This is better than the fucking action movie. Let me go ahead and just finish. I can't even talk. So excited. You thought I saw a picture of Portia. Philippine President Rodrigo D. swept into office earlier this week with bombastic promises to declare war on the drug dealers and users who he said were blighting his country. And thus far, he has delivered. Since he took office on June 30th, about 2,400 people have been slain in drug-related killings. Between July 1st and August 20th, about 900 people were killed in police operations, with another 1,100 people killed in incidents unrelated to police operations. But one of the most troubling aspects of those deaths is how they've been meted out. While police have killed a significant number of people, most of the killings appear to have been carried out by vigilantes and other civilians, some pressed into service as contract killers. Quote, "My first job 2 years ago in this province nearby, I felt really scared and nervous because it was my first time," a woman going by the name Maria told the BBC in August. She was part of a team that included several women who were often able to approach targets without raising suspicions. Quote, "One time they needed a woman," Maria told the BBC. "My husband tapped me to do the job. When I saw the man I was supposed to kill, I got near him and I shot him." Throughout his presidential campaign, Duterte emphasized that his policy on the country's drug dealers and users was kill them all, a statement that elicited both approval and shock. He also promised bounties to police who killed drug dealers and exhorted regular Filipinos to kill or arrest suspects, a request other politicians have echoed. I'm moving to the Philippines. I want to give this man a fucking hug. Anyways, when he won the election on May 9th, the country saw about 2 shooting deaths a week, according to The Atlantic. By July 21st, police or vigilantes were killing 10 people a day. That's pretty low. But anyways, even as mayor of Davao, a small city in the southern Philippines, Duterte reportedly encouraged vigilantism and bragged about killing 3 accused kidnappers himself. Duterte, nicknamed the Punisher, is suspected of having ties to motorcycle-born killers who gained the name Davao Death Squads. Motorcycle-riding gunmen have continued to kill in the months since his election. Many Filipinos have embraced his vitriol and supported his fight. Quote, "He's only going to go after the killers and the drug dealers," a woman in Davao told the New York Times in mid-June. "Don't be afraid." Since his election, Duterte has continued to encourage the public to take the law into its own hands. Quote, "Please, feel free to call us, the police, or do it yourself. If you have the gun, you have my support," Duterte said in early June, according to the Associated Press. "If a drug dealer resists arrest or threatens a citizen," Duterte went on, quote, "you can kill him, shoot him, and I'll give you a medal." Incendiary rhetoric from Duterte, as well as public accusations from Philippine police, have contributed to the rise of vigilantism. On August 30th, a businessman and his wife were gunned down by an unknown assailant just days after the national police chief accused them of being a high-profile drug trafficker. Such killings have led to accusations that security forces and hired guns working with them are carrying out extrajudicial killings. Maria, the hit woman interviewed by the BBC, says she got involved in contract killing after a corrupt police officer, one who was also dealing drugs, started commissioning her husband to gun down debtors. She soon became ensnared as a hired gun. Duterte's war on drugs has largely been fought in the poorest parts of the country, and in many cases bystanders are caught in the crossfire. Oh, that's sad to hear. Come on, guys. How about this? Only people who can shoot expert. Wink, wink. In one incident in late July, unidentified gunmen killed 5 people living in a cemetery, including a mother and son celebrating his birthday. The assailants left cardboard signs declaring the dead people to be, quote, drug pushers, a common practice that stoked anger in this instance. Quote, suddenly there was this sign. Suddenly There was shabu at the crime scene. A person living in a cemetery said, referring to a local term for crystal meth, suddenly they were bad people. But you know what? They were good people. A bigger stick. There is reason to be concerned that Duterte's violent approach to the country's drug problem will only exasperate and entrench it rather than root it out. Quote, the lawlessness that has erupted over this opening up political space for any kind of killing now, Sanho Tree, a drug policy expert at the Washington, D.C. based Institute for Policy Studies, said in an interview with CCTV. Criminals and civilians in this country could be using Duterte's crackdown as cover for settling scores, and competing drug gangs could use the wave of violence to attack their rivals and expand their turf, Tree added. This is a serious problem for sure, but the solution is not to be found by getting a bigger stick, Tree said. It's funny that Tree is talking about sticks. But anyways, only by reducing criminal sanctions can you create a space for a public health approach. People who are driven underground cannot get help. Duterte has said the country's special forces are not responsible for extrajudicial killings, and both he and police have said they've only killed in self-defense. Some 600,000 people have turned themselves into authorities, many of whom were likely prompted to do so by the bloodshed. The influx of prisoners has left at least one jail with 5 times the number of people it can hold. Duterte has referred to his camp. Well, I mean, if they're drug dealers, wipe them out. Duterte has referred to his campaign against drugs as, quote, war, which raises the specter of more killing, both by officials and by civilians. Unbowed by criticism at home and abroad, the Philippine president looks unlikely to ratchet down the bloodshed he has helped unleash. In response to UN human rights experts urging him to halt extrajudicial killings, Duterte threatened to pull his country out of the United Nations. Quote, do the lives of 10 of these criminals really matter? Duterte said in late August. If I am the one facing all this grief, would 100 lives of these idiots mean anything to me? Wow. Anyways, that's the end of the article. I've never been more proud to read a fucking article. This is a wonderful thing. I mean, these fucking terrorists, you know, these fucking drug dealers are predators. And, you know, the thing about the drug dealing is that there's so much more to it. People were like, well, I mean, it's just an exchange of goods. And, you know, especially from a bitch's perspective, especially anybody who's ever grown up in the so-called hood with like black folks, they already know, you know, the drug dealers are praised. Black women love drug dealers, love them motherfuckers. Even if, you know, the bitch might say, well, I don't like drug. Well, have you ever been with? Well, yeah, when I was younger, bitch, shut the fuck up then. I'm talking to you too, whore. Black bitches love drug dealers. These motherfuckers are out here selling poison that kills people. Not only are these motherfuckers serial killers, but also they sell this poison, which leads to broken homes, molestation, violence, domestic violence, car wrecks, people erratically driving under the influence. It leads to death and destruction all around you. Fuck them. But this is all my opinion. But bitches don't care, because as long as they get some of the money, as long as they get to go on the dates with the motherfuckers, get bought cars, jewelry, clothing, etc., it doesn't really matter to these bitches, because they're like, well, I'm not going to go to jail for it because I'm a woman. I'm just getting the benefits of it, but I'm not taking any risks. So bitches don't care. But as a guy, you know, as a so-called black man, I can appreciate this shit. And it should happen here. And the reason why it should happen is because these motherfuckers are dangerous, and what they're doing is it leads to the death of pretty much black males are the ones who suffer the most from it. So shout out to President Rodrigo Duterte. Sir, you're a fucking hero. And so are the civilians over there in the Philippines, man. Keep popping tops. Shit, I want to come visit and watch this shit go down. It may sound fucked up, but it is what it is. Anyways, this is all my opinion. What do I know? I'm just a fan of justice with a microphone. Should it happen here with the Bloods and the Crips? They're out there selling a whole bunch of drugs. I say fuck it. Hell yeah. This is all my opinion. What do I know? I'm just a fan of justice with a microphone. Let me know what you think about it all below. Meat Magazine on YouTube, meatmagazine.blogspot.com, Meat Magazine on Twitter, Meat Magazine 7 on Google+, Meat Magazine blog and Instagram. Press the notification button next to the subscribe button so you can receive alerts when new videos are posted.